What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another video. In this one, I'm going to be continuing to show you how to make the security breach Atrium in Minecraft. This is part 31, and in this one, we're going to be finishing it. We're going to be getting all these ceiling details we missed, including the Jumbotron, the lights, the speakers, the other lights. And at least I'll be telling you to fill out the tunnel. I won't actually fill out the full thing, because I just really didn't want to do that again. Look at it. Anyway, that is all. So with that being said, enjoy the tutorial and the finale of the Atrium, and I will catch you on the flip side. Alright, so we're going to start by getting that Jumbotron done. So get out the following materials for this. Dark oak trapdoors, yellow concrete, red terracotta, gray concrete, blackstone. We don't need slabs. That's what I was wondering about that. Polished deep slate slabs. Block of coal. We're not gonna have enough materials. Just get out. I almost just said verdant. Literally the only froglet we don't need. Get out pearlescent and ochre froglets, but not verdant, of course. So in order to do this, we're gonna actually mark both sides of the Jumbotron at the same time, and we're gonna use the only beam that's different, which is this one that gets raised up a little bit. And if you take the left and the right side here at the kind of top inner side, you're going to want to, including the block that I'm currently highlighting, leave a gap of 14 or count to the 15th blue in. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. And you'll place a couple of dark oak trapdoors on this block along with the one in front of them or behind it, whatever. And they're going to be open towards each other like that. And you'll do that from the other side as well. So again, really just count to the 15th block, which should be there, I think. Yeah. Once you have one set of those, you will end up extending each of them down an additional 12. Now, these are real annoying to place. Basically, you have to crouch. So press whatever your crouch button is, or I guess your fly up and fly down, which should just be crouch and jump. And you'll place a couple, then you'll let go of your jump and hold it down after you're a little bit lower, and just keep doing that until you reach the 13. I wasn't counting, so I should do this again. And they'll want to be open towards each other as the other side. Or as the top was, rather, I should say. I don't know what that meant, what I said before. Hopefully everyone is having a good day or night. I am for the most part. I actually don't think the Jumbotron will take as long as I originally thought. I think the Jumbotron will take forever because the original time that I made it, I had to make it twice. If you know, you know. I still get flashbacks to that sometimes. It's bad. It's real bad. Anyway, you should end up with this. Below each of those dark oak trapdoors, you'll have to crouch and place yellow concrete. It should give you a row of 2 on both sides. Extend the yellow forward and back an additional block, and also down an additional row to give you a 4x2. We're going to make a circle. We'll do this one side at a time. So if you take either yellow, it doesn't really matter if you're facing the stage or the elevator, since you'll be doing the same anyway. But you'll take the bottom row of yellow and extend it forward with a red. Then inward diagonally forward. Forward 2. Oh god. There we go. In diagonally forward. Forward 1. In diagonally forward by 2. In by 1. In diagonally forward 1. In by 2. In diagonally forward 1. And then you'll connect together with what should be 4 yellow concrete, and each of them you'll bring up by 1. You can flip your perspective and do the same thing, or just make the forwards backwards. But again, it's 1 red directly off of these yellows that you started with, then forward diagonally in and forward 2. Forward diagonally in and forward 1. Forward diagonally in by 2 and then in 1. Forward diagonally in and then in by 2. Forward diagonally in 1, and then you'll connect together with yellow concrete that you'll extend up a row. before we carry on with this, I'm gonna tell you you don't have to do this now, but you can bring up the like yellow, the center two yellow on the front and back here, just up with dark oak trapdoors, the same way we did the sides. Only thing is they'll be left to right and opened up against each other. And since you brought that blue terracotta, or should have brought that blue terracotta at the top of the like tunnel here across, you should be able to connect into that nicely. And yeah, this takes a minute to place for sure. If you care about the trapdoors being the same direction, you absolutely can be specific, as in up versus down, because I know with dark oak it is different, but well, okay. I honestly wouldn't care, because who's gonna see it, right? Like, who's gonna notice? But yeah, so once we do the Jumbotron, we'll get all the other ceiling stuff like on those beams done, and then I guess it's just the tunnel, isn't it? Yeah, I can't think of anything else. So this will probably end up just being this is the final part. I'm not sure. You know, I'm gonna do it from top to bottom because I find that easier. It seems faster to place, because I can probably, in theory, just do this, yeah. That is, in fact, easier. Since you can just, like, you know, fly down, and since you're already holding shift or whatever it would be, it'll automatically place them. I don't know why I didn't think to do that, but, you know, I got there. Sometimes it just takes me a minute. Next up, once you've done that anyway, I know I'm not done, but you can bring the red terracotta and yellow concrete down with another row of specifically red terracotta, which will just kind of continue to create a circle or something, I don't know. Yeah. And then we're gonna make a square below the circle, because why not? It's definitely how shapes should work. It is weird. Definitely weird. You should have this. You can take the rows of 3 red terracotta and place 2 rows of gray concrete under specifically those 3 red terracotta rows. Nothing else for now. But you're basically just creating a bunch of 3x2s of gray concrete. According to my calculations, you should be placing 8 of these, because there's 2 per side and there's 4 sides, technically. I know it's a circle, but still the 4 sides applies. And then you'll pretty much connect those grays together, like, you know, just almost, you're creating a square. And the way you're doing that is connecting the grays together, just kind of, you know, like this, across. And then you can end up bringing them out, and you'll eventually meet at a point. And it will stick outside of the red terracotta that's supposed to do that. It is a little weird, but again, putting a square under a circle of roughly the same size is kind of strange. Although I guess the square would have more volume in this case. That sounds so nerdy, but I think that would be the case. Because you have these corners that are obviously being filled by the square and not the circle. And the circle doesn't go that much further out. So I don't know. If anyone's good at math, feel free to figure it out. Because you could use the blocks, technically, as, like, your meters. I guess it is, yeah, square meters. Anyway, each corner of gray. This will get real fun real quick. You'll extend each corner of gray down by 1. Hardest step of the entire part, not actually. You'll then go down diagonally and in 2 different directions by 1. So basically from this front left corner, you go down diagonally back and to the right. And I think each diagonal here will do that. And then you'll go down by 3. And then again, you'll go down diagonally and in both directions. And then for this row, it is, you never guessed it, or you'll never guess it, down by 3. And then actually, just to get it out of the way, you will do that one more time. 2, 3, 4. So you have, I guess, the row of 3 at the top with the, including the 2 rows of the square. Then a row of 4, then a row of 4, then a row of 4. And then you can do it once more with just a singular diagonal that you don't bring down at all. So in total it's 3, 4, 4, 1, if that helps at all. Hopefully that explaining makes sense. I just kind of... Especially, again, in a situation where I might be working a little slower than whomever else, I do want to just kind of give you all of the steps so you can be like, hey, I'm going to work ahead now. Just so you know how far. And that should kind of be what you have right now. It'll definitely start to make more sense as we get further, but as of right now, it makes no sense. So, yeah. Next thing we can do is, if you take the singular red terracotta rows, these rows of 2, it's the singular, like, block of the circle, I guess the corners of the circle, if that even makes sense. You'll extend them down with 6 gray concrete each. And it'll end up a block away from this kind of, the second row of 4. So, yeah. Nice. You can take the, not the lowest of those grays, but the one above, and extend it diagonally out by 1, which essentially, if you were to bring this block in each diagonal angle, obviously you already have 1 block, so you can't put the diagonal there. It's the 2 that are closer to that block. This inner corner you don't really care about, because you're not going to see it anyway, technically. I wouldn't say you shouldn't add anything to the inside of this, because there are definitely gaps in it where you can see through, but I just added enough to make it look like there were supports, and I didn't really go crazy. So yeah, it should look like that, kind of. And then you'll extend each of those grays out by 2. So the front, like if you're looking from the front here, the 2 grays that you'll see, you'll extend towards you by 2. If you look at the right side, the 2 grays you'll see, you'll extend towards you by 2, and you'll just repeat that on all sides. And then hopefully this next step will make this make a little bit more sense as far as why that happened. Because off of those gray concrete, you're going to place blackstone that will connect together on, again, their respective sides, which is front, right, back, and left. They're not connecting between the sides. There's no diagonals. There's no full square. It's just straight up rows of blackstone. I will extend these blackstone an additional 1 off either side, just so they overhang a little bit off the gray. I think that looks better. But it's up to you. I think overhangs almost always make things look better in this game. And then I'll extend each blackstone row up by 2 to start. And then I'll give you the full business of it in a sec. But, yeah. Yeah, this took a little bit. So it'll be literally half the part is going to be this, but the rest should be easier, I think. Just thinking about, there's a couple things that might be annoying, but... So again, it's going to be the same thing where as you look at each side, you'll do this with the respective blackstone. You'll take, really, I guess the whole row, and you'll go down diagonally away from you 1, down 3, down diagonally away from you 1, and down 2. And again, you'll do that with the full thing. It will be shorter than the gray, obviously. So just kind of leave it like that, because the gray connects to another thing as well. But yeah, and then these are the screens. If you want to add whatever the thing is that the screen's displaying, I don't remember on, you can, but anything I can do to avoid pixel art, I'm gonna do. So the less pixel art in my life, the better. But that's why I like FNAF World so much. Not a single bit of pixel art in that game. Right? Yeah. The only thing that would qualify as pixel art is the whole map, or I guess the buildings, but I made those 3D anyway, so there's nothing really 2D that I had to make. Which was nice. But yeah, that map, I'm really happy with how that turned out, because I just finished that the day of recording this, actually. So, for members, expect a tour soon, hopefully, but, yeah. That should hopefully be a really fun tutorial for you all. Tedious, very tedious, but fun. And you should end up with this. That's the Jumbotron other than the circle at the bottom. For the circle at the bottom, Each of those lowest gray concrete, you'll place an upside down polished deep side slab. Almost as if you were going to connect these together with full rows, but you're just placing one on each side. Like this. I'll take the front left one as our example here, and if you take this slab that is pointed to the right, you'll go forward diagonally right, forward, forward diagonally right, right 5, back diagonally right, and then right. And you're basically doing that on all of them. So if you take, I guess what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the right side and I'll look towards it like this. And again, I'll take the left one that's pointed right, go forward diagonally right, right, forward diagonally right, right 5, back diagonally right, and right. And I won't give you that again because hopefully that should be enough. And as always, if you do need a refresher on what I was saying, you can always go back in the video. It's my recommendation. Or slow down the video, that's also an option. YouTube does have video changing speeds. Because I do realize some people have said I go fast. I think I've slowed down a little bit, but still I do realize that, you know, I sometimes go a little quickly through things. On top of each of those slabs, you want to place 2 red terracotta and then yet another row of polished deep set slabs. These ones won't be upside down, they'll just be, you know, on top of the red. And then we can start my favorite part, the underside. I say that it sarcastically, by the way, it's not my favorite part. You'll see why real quick. Spoiler alert, it's sort of pixel art. Anyway. You should have this. Get rid of your polished deep side slabs and blackstone and get out cobbled deep side stairs and sea lanterns. And before I do this, I again want to mention I don't have anything else in here. If you want to add more just like beams and stuff going around, you can, but I was not about to do all that since you can't really see it anyway, or see well into it. But anyway, if you're looking at the underside of the circle, in line with the upside down polished deep side slabs, you're going to place upside down cobbled deep side stairs going all the way around the inside of them. These stairs want to connect, basically, so you're doing one full circle around. So whatever blocks you'll have to place extra stairs on to make them connect, you'll do that for. And yeah. Anyway. And I'm also going to, once I've done that, place block of coal on top of these stairs. It's more so just for my help rather than anything else. It's not important. But you can, again, like technically if you're flying around the atrium, you would see the stairs here. So it's just nice to have something to cover them up. So also this side is flat. Cool. Point yourself to look towards the stage here, and then just look back up at what we're doing, and we're going to work left to right. Well, no, probably not, actually. We'll just work however we want. So, starting from this row closest to the stage, which we're calling the bottom as we're looking up at this, you want to place block of coal, just kind of in that little row of 4. The next row, you'll place pearlescent froglets extending in from both sides. It should be 2, like so. Extend the inner pearlescent froglights inward diagonally. I'm going to say up by 2 to connect like this. The outer ones I'll extend up 1. Then up diagonally in 1. Up 1. Up diagonally out by 2. Out 1. Up diagonally, out 1, which should touch these side coals here. Then you'll go up, in 1, up diagonally in 1, in by 2, up 1, up diagonally in 1, up 1, and then up diagonally in, and they should connect like so. Everything outside of this you'll fill in with block of coal. This is kind of weird to see with vibrant visuals. I do apologize. At least this part. Those froglets are bright too. My god. My eyes. staring into the sun. And then inside of the frog lights, you want to place just one row of block of coal going around. You don't want to place extra blocks where you don't need them, because essentially you just want to cover the frog lights on all sides, but nothing more, nothing less. You do want to make sure that you get every single one covered, though, kind of like this. And then you'll end up placing ochre frog lights tracing inside of that. We'll have to make one change to this. It's not a huge one. It's actually placing more frog lights, but... so yeah, really once you do that, again, making sure that you get all sides, you should have this. And because it's a star and it needs feet, we're going to take this bottom row of 4 frog lights and just take the end ones and kick them out of block. So it'll be ochre frog lights connecting to the pearlescent frog lights there. From the new, like, bottom here, I guess what you can actually do is at the left and the right of this star, place block of coal, along with at the top, which should leave you with this 2x2 center where you'll place sea lanterns. And after all of that, you should have this for your star. Nice, that is the difficult part of this done. Now, the next difficult part is actually going to be marking something, believe it or not. That's the hardest part of this next step. But clear your inventory, even though I know we need a couple of these materials, but get out gray concrete, polished deep slate slabs, sea lanterns, deep slate tiles, deep slate tile slabs, and pearlescent frog lights. Along with block of coal, but we're not going to be able to fully use it yet because we need the tunnel in to actually bring those up fully. Although we might do what we can. So head to the backmost beam, the one closest to the stage, and make sure you're roughly in the center here. And the way that I'm going to do it is, again, I'm going to use that blue terracotta up there, and since I have this shadow from Vibrant Visuals, I can just use these 2 blocks as my center and kind of there. Alternatively, you can trace up and just, you know, bring them down or just fall down until you land on the blocks. Or you could even use that pixel art there and just make sure that you're lined up. But whatever way you want to do it. But what you can do is off of the... whatever row, I guess, take the bottom row of blue terracotta, and on both these center blocks, you're going to place 10 placeholders coming out. I'm going to use the frog lights for this. Or 9 placeholders, not 10, I apologize. On either row. You'll then down diagonally back from that place. How many rows of gray concrete? 3. Going back. And you can move your placeholders. You'll know you're right in a second. Not yet, though. So you can take, I'm going to say the innermost row of gray concrete. And you're going to extend it both left and right by 1. Hey, you just made Freddy's top hat. You'll then take those and you'll go forward diagonally out by 1 on both sides, out by 2, forward diagonally out and out 1, forward diagonally out by 3 and forward 1, forward diagonally out and forward 2, forward diagonally out and forward 3, and those rows of 4 should sit directly under the blue terracotta, like so. And then you'll go forward diagonally in and forward 2, forward diagonally in and forward 1, forward diagonally in by 3 and in 1 from that final block, forward diagonally in by 1 and in 2, forward diagonally in 1, and you'll connect together to give you a row of 4, and in total a circle. Don't overthink this. Just place 2 more rows of gray concrete around the outside of that. Except for where we already placed them, just leave that as is. But yeah, you want every single position to be 3 blocks thick. No more, no less. You just want it all to be exactly 3. And really the only part that is weird is maybe the corners, where I'm going to just take 2 off of each of these diagonals. And then if I take 2 off of this, like the other side of these, I can literally just place an extra block in this corner to make it essentially, what is that, 4 one diagonals? Yeah. And that'll just do it right. Again, it might look a little odd at parts. Just kind of make sure that as you're tracing, you see 3, 3, that ends up being 4, so you just have to check 3, 3, 3, 3. Obviously, it'll be weird in certain parts if you try to count across, because you're counting more than the part that is at play, if that makes sense. Maybe not, but regardless, you should have this. Bring the outermost rows, I guess the outermost and innermost rows of gray concrete down with another row of gray concrete and then a row of upside down polished deep slate slabs, which should give you this. And this is where you'll actually be able to tell if you've done everything correctly, because you should have precisely 1 row of sea lanterns in the center. Once we're done, they won't be sea lanterns yet, obviously, but you'll see what I mean in a second. You'll basically just have 1 thin, like, almost circle outline in the center. And yeah. This is going to be a long part, isn't it? It happens, I guess. Yeah, because I think it just is going to make more sense to get everything done, rather than trying to be like, here's a 30-minute part and here's another 30-minute part, just make it an hour, even though it won't be an hour, because we don't have that much left. After this, at least. We'll probably do there's one other thing that's really annoying after this, from what I can recall, and then we'll leave the easiest stuff for last. Other than the giant filling of the tunnel, but that doesn't actually have to be in the video, so just have to make sure that I get the general point across of it. So you should have this. And in between those slabs, again, you can place sea lanterns. And as you notice, you'll see that they are just 1 kind of block thick. They never overlap or anything. We don't have extra blocks being placed. It's just like a perfect outline. No blocks in the corners, I guess, if you will. Even though it's a circle, so there's no corners. But it's close enough. You should have this. You'll notice you have 3 one diagonals of sea lanterns on each of the, again, quote-unquote corners. The center one you'll actually replace with a deep set tile and then extend that block down by 1. There are 2 different things that we're going to do here. Actually, they're the same. They face different directions. The ones further from the stage, so more forward, I'll say, you'll take the bottom deep set tile and extend it both forward and backward with slabs, actually. Extend either of those slabs down with a block. Extend the back block down diagonally. Or I guess it'd be the front block down diagonally, back 1, and then down with an upside down slab. The frontmost block you'll extend down with a pearlescent frog light, and then extend that frog light back with an upside down deep set tile slab. So to reiterate this on the front right one, because I was doing that on the front left, you'll place a slab both in front of and behind this block. Extend either of those slabs down with blocks. The front block I'll extend down diagonally, back 1, and then down with an upside down slab. Front block I'll extend down with a pearlescent frog light and extend that frog light back with an upside down slab. Both left and right of the frog light you'll place deep set tiles. Extend those deep set tiles up with a slab. Then forward with a block, and then bring those blocks up with more slabs. Copy that on the other 2, but these ones will be pointed the opposite way. They'll face, I guess, towards the front rather than towards the stage. So again, I'll start with the same. I'll take these 2 blocks and the bottom ones and extend them forward and backward with slabs. Extend either of those slabs down with a block, or each of them rather. The backmost blocks I'll extend, down diagonally, forward with a block, and then down with an upside down slab. the front more blocks, I'll extend down with a pearlescent froglight and then bring that froglight forward with an upside down slab. Block left and right of the froglights. Slabs on top of those blocks. Bring those slabs back with more blocks, and then bring those blocks up with more slabs. Nice. In line with each of those deep set tile rows, you can find it pretty easily if you just look, I don't know. But you can actually just check by breaking the gray concrete, and if you don't have a light shining in your face from the direct center gray concrete, then it is correct. And I'll actually fill this hole with block of coal. And then I'll just bring it up X amount of blocks, about as high as I think I might need it. We'll just have to extend it up further once we get the tunnel in. But not important yet. What is it like? What is the actual term for it? Because it's not tunnel. Tunnel is definitely not right, but it is a tunnel. A glass tunnel. It's not a dome. Skylight, I guess? Just skylight? Because I think it actually shows the sky. I'm not sure. Might be glass, might not be. Okay, there's that one done. Now, let's do the other complicated one next, which is closer to the front. It is in front of the Jumbotron, actually. And then after this, there's just the funny little guys. So, you can clear your inventory, actually, for this, and get out the following. Polished deep slate. Polished deep slate slabs. Black stone walls. Cyan terracotta. And ochre froglights. And that should be all for this particular light. So, find the center of this beam, and I'm gonna just like roughly mark it. And again, I'll do the same thing. I can use the light up here. I nailed that actually. Wow. I can use the Jumbotron, or I can use the light in front of me. I think the light in front of me actually is probably the most reliable. It's not more reliable than Jumbotron, and obviously not the shadow, but probably most of you wouldn't have that, so yeah. From this, you want to actually, where I have these blocks at the back half, place upside down polished deep slate slabs. Blocks in front of those, upside down slabs below those blocks. Down diagonally back, technically just directly back, but it's kind of down diagonally. You'll place polished deep slate slabs like this. They're half a block lower than the upside down ones. Below those slabs, I'll place blocks, and then below those blocks, I'll place 2 rows of black stone walls. Also from the polished deep set, I'll place more slabs behind. Then underneath the black stone walls, I'll place a couple polished deep set, which will extend off the left and right an additional 1. I will then bring the polished deep set, any block, I'll just pick the right one. I'll go up diagonally back, down diagonally back, down, and then down diagonally forward 3, and then down with an upside down slab. Yeah, it's like almost half of a heart. You'll then take the block under the row of walls, which is, I'm just going to take this one again, the same one. I'll go down diagonally forward by 3. Like so. I'll then just make this span the full 4 rows, so I'll just extend what I placed left an additional 3. Like so. The 3 rows of polished deep set in front of the row with the black stone walls, only on the center 2 you're placing polished deep set slabs, just to give you a little bit more shape. Now if you direct your attention from the front here, what you can actually do is this frontmost row of polished deep set, you'll break these center 2 blocks like so. Not in line with them, but a block back, you'll place ochre froglights like so. And then what you'll do is you'll bring the ochre froglights forward, or down by 1, sorry, not forward. One quick adjustment we have to make though, this row of upside down polished deep set slabs should be below the froglight, so just kind of push it forward a block like so. And then I'll place polished deep set blocks on these side ones. There you go. I'll then also just fill in the full sides of this light rather with polished deep slate. And then what you can do is from the polished deep slate, the like higher ones left and right of the frog ledge, you'll go diagonally out and forward with a cyan terracotta. You'll do a couple things with these signs. You'll bring either side up diagonally in by 2, which should connect them together. And then you'll take those same cyan and go down diagonally back 1, then down diagonally in by 2, and they should again connect and give you this. That wasn't terrible, but still more annoying than I would prefer. The next part is... oh, weird. It's weird. That's all it is, really. You can clear your inventory again. We technically need some of that again, but I just feel like it's better to get a fresh slate every time. Get out black stone walls, polished deep slate slabs, deep slate tile slabs, and black stone slabs. If you want, it might not hurt to get out the block variant of both a deep slate tile and blackstone. You technically don't need it, but since we have the inventory space, I'm gonna actually grab them out myself. So we're doing what we are twice. The row, I want to say directly behind the Jumbotron. Yes. You want to take between... it'll be the second and third lights in these two. If you take the second one and just, you know, count in from it, I don't think this is a center, so I think it'll be 4 off one and 5 off the other. Yeah, it'll be 4 off of this outer one and 5 off that inner one. So if you count into the 5th blue from it, you'll place 2 black stone walls extending in, and again, you can check that this is a gap of 5. I'll place another row there so it's on both ends of the blue. And if you want to do both these at the same time, you can. You're just doing the same thing. I might do it like sets of steps at a time, but not all at the same time. But what you can do from there is extend those blackstone walls down by 5. Like so. And it should be lower than the lights by a couple blocks, I think. 1 full block, I guess. Extend the bottom row of blackstone walls out in each direction by 2. Only just like straight out, so you're essentially creating like a plus or a fan blade. Like this. And I'm gonna do this much on the opposite side. Again, it's the same beam, you're just between the second and third light. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5th blue from this outer one, 2 blackstone walls over. And then it's a 2 by 2, down by 5 rows. And then from this bottom row, 2 blackstone walls in each direction. You will end up like hitting one of the lights. I'll explain that in a sec though. Off of the outer row of blackstone walls on each side, you'll place blackstone blocks. And you'll extend those blocks up by just a row. You'll also place upside down blackstone slabs under them. And then what you can do is go diagonally in from the blackstone with really all 3 rows of it, the both block rows and the upside down slabs with deep slate tiles, and it'll essentially give you this. And what I did was I just placed another deep slate tile on each corner. You don't have to do that if you don't like it as much, but I think it looks better. And again, I'll do both rows of blocks and the upside down slabs with deep slate tile. And so yeah, and then I'll do this on the other one as well. And then we just got one more little thing with it. So again, from the blackstone, it's up, or from the walls, it's up a row and down by half a block. And yeah. Cool. The next thing that we're gonna do is above the deep set tile and blackstone, you're gonna place upside down polished deep set slab. You'll have that half a block gap between them, but you kind of just want to outline the same shape with the slabs. Like this. Can I get this block, please? Thanks. Like that. And you'll also, in line with that same row, you'll just go around the blackstone wall, like center with that. So just really upside down polished deep set slabs off of each side. And kind of from above, it looks like this. And again, you'll do that on the other side. And then that's all of those details done. And as far as I'm aware, other than the tunnel, we're done. The tunnel... It's not going to be the worst thing, but I'll explain it in a second. The other thing that I want to mention is with that light, if you want to remove it, by all means you can. It is definitely jammed in there. You could also push it over a block so it has the gap like the other side here does. Because I feel like in real life circumstances, with how much these speakers would be, you know, vibrating, that would just probably shatter that light. Or, you know, it wouldn't last up there at least, but... Anywho, and so, yeah, again, whatever you want for the tunnel. So here's what I'm going to tell you. For the front and back, go as far as you'd like, an additional amount. However, what I'm going to do is, again, you'll just kind of need whatever blocks. I'm going to take this gray concrete and extend it like 20 blocks or so. I'm not even going to count it out. Let me confirm with prize counter. You shouldn't hit anything, though. Like, or you shouldn't... Yeah, prize counter doesn't even get close to this height. So, bring this as far as you'd like on this side. And on the other side, it'd be the same thing. Just you'd use magenta concrete, not gray. Although, if you wanted to use gray as well, you could. I just used the specific blocks that I used because it was just a continuation of the, like, top row of the wall on the respective sides. But yeah, and again, you'll bring the blue terracotta and whatnot as far in addition as you need. And then the skulk. And I'm not going to fill this all on this video because I have no reason to. Frankly, I'll never have a reason to. Unless I do a ruined atrium, but, you know, that's a problem when I get there. You can use structure blocks for this. Just keep in mind of that center beam with the trapdoors, because you'd have to avoid that. But you could, like, structure block a 64 block segment. I want to say this is wider than a structure block, though. Let me check. 1168 to... Yeah, it's wider than a single structure block file. So, yeah, World Edit or something would definitely be very helpful with this. And, yeah, once you're at this point, just don't forget to connect a block of coal into the skulk. You have the option of either breaking the skulk in the... Actually, let me see if it matters, because you might not be on that, like, weird angle. No, it won't matter, because you'll just connect directly into, like, the center of a row. It'll be... I can actually show you what it is. It'll be... I think this row of 4. Yeah, it'll connect right there. On all 4 of them, since it is symmetrical, or should be. If you're off a block, I wouldn't worry about it. You can always be picky, but yeah. So finish filling out that skulk outline, and again, bring whatever you need to further, just to finish it off. And if there's any other details you think that I missed or should have added or whatever, you can add them yourself. And also just, you know, let me know if I missed anything painfully obvious. Because that'd be something I'd throw in, like, part 1 of daycare or something weird, or one of the sub-lobbies. Because we do still have to do this. But just, like, looking off of the top of my head, I see that we have everything. Yup. That was fun. 31 parts, which is close to half the amount that Poppy Playtime Chapter 2 took. Insane. One room compared to, like, an hour-long chapter. It's not an hour. It's probably 30 minutes. But still, the comparison is there, and it's kind of ridiculous. As for future segments, please pay attention to this because I'm not going to be answering a ton of comments about it. Sublobbies will probably be 1 or 2 parts each, and they will be separate. they'll probably be what you see next, except for maybe Roxy Raceway, because I might have to redo that one. I don't think it's big enough, or it's not small enough. It's on one of the extremes, and I don't remember which side it's on, to where I think there will be issues. Daycare, I'm not ready to do. Once I'm ready, you will get daycare. But it's just not going to be for a little bit, because I am not enjoying making the daycare. And yeah, if I do end up doing, or when I end up doing it, I can't even guarantee that I would do the little, like, whatever, the play structures accurate, because I ended up, I think, by the end of it, just not caring and finishing them, even if it wasn't accurate. Although, for the most part, I got them right. Most likely to be next up is probably Bakery, after sub-lobbies at least. It's between Bakery, Mazer Size, and L Chips. But L Chips, I don't want to do until Superstar Arcade is done. Mazer Size, I wouldn't want to do until Monty Golf is done, and that's not done. And Bakery isn't connected to anything, so that's kind of the obvious next option. Rockstar Row's not done. I'm not that far in this map. Like, it's not. Sure, you got the whole Atrium, but it's not as far as you think. But anyway, that's enough rambling for me. Thank you guys for watching. If you guys did enjoy this video, and if you made it this far and finished the entire series, congratulations, you have an Atrium in your world. I envy the work ethic to follow someone else's build that is that much. And yeah, with that being said, have a fantastic rest of your day or night, and I will see you on the next one. I gotta drag this out. Peace.